we've no place to go. Let it snow.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name's Janelle and I upload new videos every Wednesday and Friday. I'm gonna preface this video with every time I press that record button or go to sit down to film, there is either a roadway being ripped up, a tree being literally shaved down, or somebody literally scraping concrete. So if the sound quality is a little bit off, I do my best, but I cannot control what my neighbors do around me. Today I wanted to talk about some of my favorite fragrances, my favorite winter scents. A lot of these are my favorite winter scents, but you could honestly use them all year round. I love me some good fragrances. I love to smell good. I love smells really like set the mood or the vibe for my day. So if that's something that you're interested in seeing, then definitely please keep watching. Also, toward the end of the video, I will be talking about my favorite Dossier fragrances, which is basically a company that makes dupes of high-end fragrances. I've tried so many of them, but I'm gonna share with you guys some of my favorite end of the video. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, if you guys wanna smell warm and cozy and delicious for the winter time, then definitely please keep watching. So the first fragrance that I want to talk about is J'adore by Dior. This fragrance I like to use a lot during the day because it's more fresh floral with a little bit of spice in it. You'll notice throughout this video that I love me some warm florals. I love things that are like fresh but cozy at the same time. I don't like anything too fruity or too stark or cold, if that makes sense. I like it to have some of that warmth, and this has that. So this is described as a clean, warm floral. It has key notes of ylang ylang, which I looked up, and it's like a tropical fruit or a tropical tree or flower or something in India. And then it has Damascus rose, jasmine. And when I think of this fragrance, it's a very like kind and sophisticated scent. So this is like perfect to wear during the day if you want to make a good, nice, friendly first impression, but you don't want anything like too strong or too intimidating. This is really, really nice. I really like this because it's not overpowering. It's still very feminine. It smells like a very sweet, kind, sophisticated girl. And next on the list, very similar to that vibe, but a little bit different, I have Modern Muse by Este Lauder, which I literally, let me clean this bottle. Literally, I never hear anybody talk about this fragrance. So this is described as a woody floral. It has exotic mandarin, honeysuckle, jasmine, amberwood, and patchouli. Clearly, I love fragrances with jasmine and patchouli. You'll hear that a lot throughout this video. This is like a very clean, warm, and like happy scent. Every time I smell this, I just immediately get happy. And I think it's mainly because I remember I started wearing this fragrance when my now husband and I, we were like in that talking dating phase. So it just reminds me of that. I envision a young lady wearing this fragrance that's like super ambitious, going to law school, or like is an overachiever. They are still very friendly and kind, but they are also a boss at the same time. And again, it's not an overpowering fragrance. It's still very like fresh, soft, and subtle, but then you have that like woodsy undertone in it that just makes it like so comforting to you at the same time. This is 100% my favorite like daytime winter scent. So next up, we have one of my top favorite fragrances of all time. It is Vie Es Belle by Lancome. I've talked about this so many times on my channel. The bottle was actually created like years and years and years before the fragrance was ever made. It's inspired by like a woman's smile, and then that's why they use Julia Roberts as the face of this fragrance, because of her like perfect, beautiful smile. So that I find is super like beautiful and captivating. But the fragrance itself, I feel like smells like a very like warm, kind of genuine person, where they are just like very kind, and it's not just the people that are like really kind and bubbly to like everybody. This is the type of person that truly wants what's best for everybody. She just like exudes warmth and kindness and love like from within, but she's also like very like firm in her beliefs and true to herself. And I feel like that's why I love it so much, because it's just like very like warm but just endearing and fresh and friendly. And I feel like this is also a very like classic, timeless fragrance as well. It's a really nice warm floral. It has top notes of iris, middle notes of patchouli, and then base notes of spun sugar and warm vanilla. Now I will say I normally don't like super sweet vanilla scents. Like if it's too vanilla-y, I immediately get turned off. But I feel like the patchouli and the iris help balance out the vanilla so that it's not too sweet. It's like that perfect balance of that sweet, but then that like spicy warmth to it. It also has orange blossom in it too, which kind of gives it a little bit more of that freshness too to the spicy and the sweetness. And let me just tell you, when I worked for Lancome, I would come into work, I'd spray this, and the amount of times where after spraying it, somebody would walk by and immediately be like, I need whatever you just sprayed, like that smells incredible, happened so many times. It was always the easiest sale. I would just spray my fragrance and then boom, somebody would buy immediately, which is typically very hard to do. Like I feel like there's very few fragrances where people want to buy right on the spot. A lot of times they want to like try it out, test it, but this one was just so captivating. And then also I always remember during the holiday time or during like Valentine's Day when men would come in trying to buy fragrances for their significant other, every time I would show them like the whole lineup of Lancome fragrances, this one always stood out the most. This was the one that they were always like super drawn to and loved the most. And it's funny too because Alex is also not a very big fragrance person, but this is like his favorite out of all the fragrances that I wear. He just, one of those, again, they're captivating, they're bold, but they're not overpowering. It's just like a really pretty feminine but sophisticated warm scent. Then tying into Vie Es Belle, I feel like this is like Vie Es Belle's sister. Okay, this is the best way to describe it. Vie Es Belle's like the older sister, the really like kind, smart one that like looks after everybody, that sticks by the rules, that tries to be a good example for all her siblings. And then this next one is like the middle child that is like that but has like a little bit more sass in them, and it is the Miss Dior Absolutely Blooming. This reminds me a lot of Vie Es Belle but just with a little bit of extra spice, and I feel like the same type of girl would wear this one as Vie Es Belle. Like when I think of this, I think of somebody very like warm, kind, genuine from the inside, but I think of like the person like that, but that's like maybe from like New York or New England. Like I feel like people up here are very like have a no, what is on my lip? People up here have a more like no BS mentality where they're gonna be like very direct. However, this person is like that, but it's always with good intentions. They had a good upbringing and they will tell you the truth, tell you how it is, but it'll always come from like a good place and for your best interest. That's like a lot that I used to describe this fragrance. It's very like warm, fresh, super intriguing and captivating. It's a warm, spicy floral. It has notes of red berry, peony. It has grasse and Damascus rose. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And then it also has white musk. I believe the white musk is what makes it like very like spicy and just like captivating and like what reels you in. And it helps balance out like the freshness of the red berry and the peony and just kind of like gives you this like cozy, warm, fresh hug. This is actually the fragrance that I used on my wedding day and I love it. It's just an all-around amazing, amazing scent. And I feel like both of these you could definitely use in the daytime and the nighttime. So then the next one I feel like ties into these two as well. This is gonna be the youngest child, the youngest sibling, which is very similar. Like they all have the same upbringing, you know, but they're all like very different and are like their own person. The last of the trio that I'm gonna share with you guys, and that is the Valentino, who is the Valentino Donna Born in Roma fragrance. Again, it's a warm floral, but this one has like a little bit of extra spice, a little extra pizzazz to it. Yo, I'm a hot mess. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I love this one so much. A lot of times I like to do a spray of this whenever I do my Vie Es Belle because it has a little bit more of that spice in it. So this is a warm floral. It has black currant, jasmine, grandiflorum, bourbon vanilla. Like I said, they're similar to these two. I feel like the same type of woman, super kind, genuine. But this one is a little bit more rebellious, not scared of risk. It's like the other two, but just she's the youngest child. She's fearless. She'll talk back to her parents. I'm just kidding. Oh, it smells really, really good. I feel like so many people have talked about this fragrance and it is a really, really nice one. And it is the YSL Black Opium fragrance. I lost the cap to mine. First of all, the bottle is just so stunning and pretty. This again is really similar to the other three that I just talked about, except this is a true nighttime fragrance. Like I feel like whenever I've sprayed this during the day, it just doesn't fit the vibe. It doesn't. It's way too like strong and mysterious, I feel like, to wear during the day. So this has notes of black coffee, white flowers, warm vanilla, spicy gourmand. It's a very like nighttime, warm, sexy scent. Again, I hate using the word sexy to describe things, but that's the best way I can describe it. Again, the perfect nighttime fragrance. I would not be able to wear this fragrance every single day. It's just very, very strong. And a little of this goes a long way because it is intense. Then next up, we're gonna kind of like move away from, I feel like the last 4 fragrances I talked about were all in the same family. This was like that distant cousin that you only see that moved to New York that comes visits the family every other holiday. I hope that I'm describing these good. I'm doing them justice. Next up, we have C by Giorgio Armani. This one I'm literally almost completely out of. I'm out of it pretty much. Like, I've been holding on to those last like 2 spritz for way too long. But I also have the Dossier version of it. The Dossier one is called a Woody Freesia. However, I feel like the Dossier one lasts longer than the C. Like the original Giorgio Armani C, it didn't wear as long on me, but I did love it for the daytime because it was a lot softer of a scent. So this has top notes of freesia, blackcurrant, strawberry, middle notes of rose, jasmine, and peach, and base notes of patchouli, vanilla, blonde woods, and musk. I feel like what makes this fragrance so unique is like the peach and the strawberry. It's like a citrus, but warm, floral, all at the same time. Super unique, super captivating. This I like to wear during the day. I also feel like this is really perfect for the spring and summertime. It's like that hint of that citrus undertone just feels very tropical too, but it's still a good winter like day scent. Very unique, very, very pretty. And again, that's one of those fragrances that aren't gonna be overpowering. It's gonna be like these two where you can wear them during the day. They're gonna be different and unique and people are gonna ask you what you're wearing, but it's not gonna like overtake them or be like too intimidating of a fragrance. All right, then next up, this one I only have the Dossier version of, but I've had several of the little samples of it because every time I would order beauty products from Nordstrom, they always send fragrances and I would always pick it. And it is the Armani My Way fragrance. It is such a beautiful, captivating, unique, sophisticated scent. So the Dossier version is called Fruity Neroli. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And it has top notes of bergamot, neroli, blackcurrant, strawberry. I got confused for a second because I was like, am I rereading the same fragrance as my last one? Of jasmine, tuberose, orange blossom, and then base notes of vanilla, musks, and cedarwood. That's why I love it. It has literally all the notes that I love in like all my fragrances combined. So it's weird because I feel like the scent takes me back to, I remember I visited Miami one time. I grew up in Florida my whole life, only went to Miami one time. So I always remember going to Miami in 2011 and it was when the Kardashians were like literally like working their way up on their way to becoming prime people. And I remember going to the Dash store. Do you guys remember that when the Kardashians had Dash in Miami? And their store smelled like this. And I think that's why I love it so much, because it just reminds me of the way their Dash store smelled. Aside from that though, I feel like this just smells like a really wealthy woman that knows what she's doing, she owns like several businesses. I don't know, that's what this smells like to me. Don't ask me why, it just does. It's a good daytime fragrance if you want to be like, look, I'm here, respect me, and you're gonna remember me. Yo, my throat hurts, I'm talking way too much. I have 2 more fragrances that I want to talk about. The next fragrance I'm going to talk about, I've never owned the real one of, but everybody talks about it. And I've talked about the Dossier version a ton of times on my channel. What is going on with my hair? And it is the Ambery Saffron fragrance from Dossier. This is a dupe for the expensive, very well known Baccarat Rouge 540. So many people have talked about that fragrance. So many people have talked about dupes of that fragrance. I've never tried it, I've never worn it. All I know is that every time I wear the Dossier version, I get so many compliments. This is probably one of my most complimented fragrances that I have ever worn. 1, 2, I mentioned this previously. I have a best friend that is a fragrance snob. She gets all the most expensive fragrances. She owns Baccarat Rouge 540. I was wearing this one day and she was like, oh my gosh, you're wearing Baccarat Rouge 540. And I was like, no girl. $29, Dossier. Oh yeah, I've been forgetting to mention, I do have a discount code with Dossier. It's not an affiliate link, but if you use the code Janelle10, you'll get 10% off. So anyways, this has top notes of saffron, orange blossom, middle notes of jasmine, plum, and cedarwood, and base notes of oak moss, fir balsam, and amber. It's a very sweet scent. It's probably one of the sweetest scents I own, but It's not like that sweet that'll give you a headache. It still has that warmth, like that cedar wood. Those all like really give it that like warmth, just like, oh my gosh, like I need to know you. You are so fascinating. You know what you're doing. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. A girl that knows what she's doing with her life. Then lastly, there was one last scent that I wanted to talk about, and this is actually a new discovery for me. This probably is like the most unique from all the fragrances that I've described. It's the most different fragrance, and it's a fragrance where when I initially sprayed it, I was like, this is disgusting, but as it wore on me, I was like, this is so captivating and pretty. Is Woody Sandalwood by Dossier, and this is supposed to be a dupe for Labo Santal 33. Literally, to me, it just smells like Christmas. This smells like a memory more than a person. This smells like a feeling that you are in cabin. I feel like I'm in a cabin. There's a fireplace going, Christmas trees up. Again, when I first sprayed this, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but as it wore on my skin, I just could not stop smelling my wrist because of how captivating it was. So this has top notes of violet leaves, cardamom, middle notes of orris, ambrox, cedarwood, and cypriol. I probably butchered all of those. And then base notes of musk, sandalwood, and amber. Really, really pretty, unique scent. This one is super, super, super intriguing. And I feel like this could be a fragrance where maybe not everybody would love, but a lot of people would be like intrigued by it and be like, what is that? I've never smelled anything like that. It's so unique. But like I said, this smells like too Christmassy for me that I literally would not be able to wear this fragrance all year round. It could only be worn during the holidays. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed hearing me ramble for hours. I hope I did a good enough job describing what I typically smell like and the fragrances that I love to wear. If you guys did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below if you've tried any of these fragrances. Also, let me know what your favorite fragrances are too. I'll leave everything linked down below in case you want to do some like last minute Christmas fragrance gifts for people in your life. I believe any of these would be really good options besides the Woody Sandalwood. This is the one fragrance where I'm like, some people might actually hate this. I feel like everything else is very like, a lot of people would really love and appreciate it, especially the Vie Es Belle. Yeah, I love you guys. I pray that you all have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday, and I'll see you guys next time.